Seahawks and Geno Smith have reached an agreement on a new 3-year deal. So now it becomes what's next for Seattle. And we talked about, moving forward with defense, the draft, all that stuff. Now I want to get to a more philosophical question with what's next. How about a Super Bowl? Can you win a Super Bowl with Geno Smith on this contract? So let's start there. Can Geno Smith win you a Super Bowl bump?
That's the it's the $105 million question.
Yeah.
Now, can Geno win you a Super Bowl? I'm going to say a lot before I tell you my answer.
That's okay.
All right.
We got time.
Is it likely that Geno wins you a Super Bowl? No, it ain't likely. The odds are not in the Seahawks' favor. They are not in Geno's favor. They're not even in Geno's favor to repeat what he did last year. Mm-hmm. Right? Who's the favorite? You got your Mahomes, your Joshes, those guys at the top. They are more likely to win a Super Bowl than Geno. Why are they more likely to win a Super Bowl? The Bills over there, you got that offense. Defense was banged up last year, but you got some guys there. You got to sign Tremon and Poyer over there at that safety spot. Or Tremaine, I should say, not Tremon, Tremaine. You look at the Cincinnati Bengals. Can you win there? You got Joe Burrow over there. Joe Mixon tripping, shooting guns in his house as of late. But you still got Jamar Chase. You got Higgins. You got a decent defense over there. And then you have to knock off the champion himself and Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs, but they got some things going too. You got Frank Clark, who's going to be, has he been cut already?
I don't know if he has, but there's reports that he will be. So let's just say he's out of the picture.
He's out the picture. Orlando Brown has been franchise tagged. That's risky right there. You look at the odds for Geno to do it, you go, nah, I wouldn't bank my house on him. Can he do it is a different question. Of course he can. And I'm going back in the time, and go ahead and light me up on the text lines, okay? But I'm going back in time, and I go, everyone looks at Trent Dilfer and say, well, he did it. Everyone can do it. We also have one of the greatest defense of all time set up for him to do it. You know who he played in the conference championship game? He played Rich Gannon. You had two old average quarterbacks going at it in year 2000.
As Gen Z would say, very mid quarterbacks.
Very mid quarterbacks. Now, Rich Gannon did have a bounce a year after that and had a great year, right? Not knocking those men at all. And then I look like, when's the last time that a mid, as the kids say, quarterback won a Super Bowl? You got to stick with the Baltimore Ravens. And I go, Joe Flacco made himself a whole bunch of money after that in 2012. So there were 12 years in between, I would say, just average quarterbacks winning you Super Bowls. So it's not going to happen often, but can it happen? Yeah. It's been 10 years since the last time I saw an average quarterback win a Super Bowl, and to go back to Joe Flacco. Now, is Geno going to be able to do it on his own? No. All those situations I just mentioned had some help. They had defenses out there. You got Ray Lewis and the gang over there, man. That Baltimore, when they beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl, you had the lights go out and a return for a touchdown. Things need to happen.
Fault.
Things need to happen. Is it likely? No, it is not likely. Okay, but if John Schneider, Pete Carroll, they go out, they find themselves a hog in the box on that defensive line. They take care of a couple guys on defense you need to bring back. You address the offensive line. There are things that need to happen. Even with the Kansas City Chiefs, when they won their Super Bowl this year, things needed to happen. You needed Juju Smith-Schuster to look better than he did when he left Pittsburgh. You needed Isaiah Pacheco, a 6th, 7th round draft pick, to turn it on late in the season and get it going. You needed an offensive line that was good to handle the best defensive line in the game, and you need to stay healthy. So, look, I'm just saying, is it likely that Geno's going to win a Super Bowl here? No. But is it possible? Yes. And then I want to correct myself. 206, good point. He's not an average quarterback. Geno is an above-average quarterback, okay?
Yeah.
But there's a reason why Geno's in the position that he's in right now, because he banked on himself, and the Hawks paid him because they know that he can keep the ship afloat if they start adding pieces around him. So, long answer to a short question.
No.
Can he do it? Yeah, he can do it. Is it likely? No, it's not likely.
It's a good answer. I'll also say there are some people saying Nick Foles. I think the reason that Bump didn't include Nick Foles is he's talking about full season long. Back in 2017, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, Carson Wentz was a starter for 13 games. They were 11-2. So MVP candidate. So that's why Nick Foles isn't being included here, because it's talking about, like, this is their quarterback. Nick Foles came in and did an amazing job. It was a great story. It was one of my favorite Super Bowls I've ever seen, Super Bowl 52. However, the reason that Nick Foles isn't being included in this conversation is who was their quarterback that year. It was Carson Wentz, and he appeared with them through a good chunk of the season, like 3/4 of the season. Eli Manning 1-2 is a perfect answer. Those two Giants Super Bowl teams are just wild. Let's go back to one of your points. You said, look, can you do it? Yes. Is it easy? No. But one of the things you need if you're going to be able to do it is a lot of talent. You looked at the Baltimore Ravens in both those years, and you said they had a lot of talent. And not only that, but they had a lot of circumstances go their way. So let's start with talent. Does Geno's contract, we don't know all the exact details about cap hit, but does his contract, does the Seahawks situation allow them to build a talented roster around Geno? Like, how do you get that talent? You can't do it in 1 year, but how do you get that talent?
Man, it's a great place to start. It's a great place to start to have right now about $23 million cap space, right? And to have all the picks that you have in early. Again, that's another circumstance that's helping them out right here.
10 total picks.
You got money, you got 10 picks, you got 2 in the top 23 in the top 37, 38. Yeah. So there's an opportunity. If done right, you're going to set yourself up to have a better chance of winning the Super Bowl than you did last year. No one's expecting them to do it. And sometimes those are the teams that get you. Are the Hawks going to prepare to win a Super Bowl? Of course. You know who their coach is? Pete Carroll. It's John Schneider. They're not going to step in front of their team and say, hey, let's just try to make the playoffs this year. When on the outside looking in, we're probably like, okay, that is a step in the right direction. Get to the playoffs now, win a game or two if you can. Things always have to go right, especially when you don't have the overall talent that a lot of these other teams have. So, I'm optimistic. Now, you talk to me like week 5 or 6, then it might be a different answer. You asked me about this team before the season last year. I'm telling you, there's no way. They're not even making the playoffs. Then I see 3 or 4 games. I see what Geno's doing. I'm like, he ain't even turning the ball over. Rashad Penny's balling right now. DK looks like he's doing okay. Things start to happen, and your perspective, your perception of a team starts to change a little bit. But right now, I'm saying, look, man, there's an opportunity to set this franchise up for years to come. Can you get lucky this year and make a run at this thing if all goes well? Of course you can.